Well, thank you guys for coming here today. We are starting off Meet the Wedding Vendor series for Lancaster Photography School, and we're starting off with a really fun one for you today. We have Shawn Fisher Productions here. We've got
Hello,
Shawn
hello.
and Kayla, and the longest standing employee of Shawn Fisher Productions, been with them from the very, very
10
beginning.
years. 10 years.
10 years. We've got
10
Kyle
years.
here. So
Mm-hmm.
I
say hi,
started when
Kyle.
I was 12.
Sure you did.
So thank you guys for coming today. We kind of wanted to start off the year of our series, Meet the Wedding Vendor series, with a lighthearted, fun note. So we're bringing back Shawn Fisher Productions because we love Shawn Fisher Productions, one of our
Be kind. We
favorite.
love you too, Megan. We love you too.
So we just wanted to have some fun today and have some questions out there. I know a lot of photographers are getting ready to gear up with their wedding seasons, and a lot of photographers get nervous about working with videographers. So I just wanted to show you guys how fun videographers can be. So but we've talked about this live session as us getting together as friends, like we're really good friends on the outside of this whole wedding vendor series, this whole wedding industry thing. So when's the last time we actually hung out, guys?
Oh,
Well,
man.
it's been
Let me
so
pull out my calendar real quick.
Yeah,
um,
it might. I don't know. Was it
And
yesterday?
do you remember when?
It was
it's been at least
Yesterday we actually got
24
dinner, so we're
hours,
having
right?
I think we're on 24 hours here, guys.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's great. We just keep this rolling. Tomorrow we'll find the next place.
Yes.
It'll be great.
Yes. So like we're on a hot streak here. Typically we don't actually get together more than like once a year outside of actual wedding days. So just to be clear here, we all live very far away. So we try our very best to get together at least once a year to actually hang out with each other, and we have a blast. So we just kind of wanted to keep the party rolling this year. But just to give you guys an idea, I have a list of questions that I'm planning on asking them, but they have no idea what I'm
Oh,
asking.
no.
So this is
Excited, but
going to be.
nervous.
I
Mostly
would
excited.
say I
Yes,
promise I'll
100%.
be nice, but I don't. So since it's been pretty much a year, it's been almost exactly a year since we saw each other since the last time, right? So Kyle, what was the stage of Shawn and Kayla's relationship at that meeting a year ago, since our last get together?
So our last get together, what was the stage?
What was the stage of their relationship at that point? Do you even remember, do you remember how long they had been dating at the time?
Because we normally get together around March, right? Around February, March, beginning of the year, right?
Something
So I
like
think
that.
was it like brand new, right? So
No.
when did you guys meet?
We're not that fresh.
How fresh?
We had been dating for like
We
7
go on our first date in August.
Yeah, so it'd have been like 6, 7 months.
Yes, that's right. All right, it's all coming back to me. All right, Kayla was there.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, you
It was
Yeah,
the first.
Shawn
Yeah,
and Shawn
yeah.
wrote the toast. Yes, it's all coming back now. Shawn
Yeah,
wrote the
yeah.
and
Yeah.
he gave a beautiful toast, like Toastmaster kind of toast.
No, I wasn't the host.
But
No,
I wasn't the host.
who
you weren't the
typically
host, but I
hosts our
said it was a
get-togethers?
toast.
Kyle
Yeah.
typically hosts and gives the speech, but as we progress, he's starting to delegate more so that he can enjoy his life a little bit more.
And
Yeah.
so can his wife. Yes, we love you, Heather.
Yeah, it was still fairly new. I only saw her a handful of times, and so I was curious how the interaction was. But I will say, Kayla, I mean, I said it in my speech, but it was just like it's like identical to Shawn, like just how they maneuver through a room and can easily jump into a conversation and not be like standing out in the corner or anything like that. So, but yeah, no, Kayla is definitely an attachment. It's like a second Shawn in the room, and it's just like another feel of it. And so no, so that was
I guess.
yeah, it was. But yeah, but even still, 6 months is not an eternity either. So, so it's still fairly new, but it was still only seeing her a handful of times. It was good to see an additional new person into the room and how she would handle that. And And
She
you know,
handled it with such grace.
I was going to say,
We
because
can
I'm
be
like, Megan
pretty
opens up
like
the door
hard
like a
to.
hurricane. Yes, the door like whooshes open, and Megan's like, ta-da! Right, like here I am.
I'm here.
Yeah, here comes the hug monster. Right, like I'm coming after you. And
I just remember I was like, Megan's so sweet. Like,
She is.
I loved you
Yeah,
from the beginning,
she
Megan.
is,
I was like,
for sure.
oh, winner right there.
Yeah, I loved you from the beginning too. I was like, oh, thank God.
Awkward at the
You
beginning.
know. So, Kyle, can you tell the group how you and Shawn met and how long you've known each other?
so we met at church. They did a men's breakfast. That's right, because they had a men's conference, and then after the conference, they did like a breakfast. And I didn't know Shawn at the conference, but we went to the breakfast. We ended up sitting like across or next to each other, and we didn't even talk during the entire breakfast. Like he was just there, and he was talking to somebody who I kind of knew or whatever. But it wasn't until I left in the parking lot, he's just like, "Hey, bro," however Shawn talks.
I'm sure that's what he said. I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
Oh,
it was like,
yeah.
hey, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
Hey, bro.
That's Shawn. No, but he no, like he came up to me. It was just like, hey, heard you, have like film degree, or you like filming or whatever. He's like, you ever thought about joining media? And I'm like, yeah. And, like in my mind, like you walk into church, you see this whole like media team, like that would be cool to do. And I'm like, I don't know who to talk. Like I was still brand new to church, and so I'm like, I don't know who to talk to, and I'm like, not qualified, whatever. So then
not even like
Wait.
there
Not
are some
qualified?
yeah, there's some pretty big boy equipment there.
Okay, so just a little backstory on Kyle, real quick. So Kyle doesn't say this because he doesn't, his main job isn't specifically in like the film world, but Kyle has a film degree from arguably the best film school in the country. So Kyle likes to downplay this whole like, oh, I'm not like I can't do.
Look, you
Kyle
see some.
has a film degree from one of the best schools in the country. Okay, so let's
Oh,
just
I'm
get
Kyle.
that out
I
of
don't
the
know
way.
what I'm doing. I'm gonna mess this all up, and I'm gonna like let Shawn down. I don't know what I'm doing.
No,
Film degree.
no.
So now you know my pep talk every morning before a wedding. Yeah. It's great. No, so it was one of those things, but and then Shawn came up and he was the media director, and he's like, "Oh, we're looking for extra camera. Would you want to come on?" And I said, "Yeah." And this was, we were married a few years, but no kids and stuff like that. So it's just like, "Yeah, sure, I can serve as much as you need." And so we started doing that, and then working together on Sundays, and then at that exact same time, which I didn't know, Shawn was starting his company, and so he was doing both. And then that winter, his only second shooter at the time couldn't make it or sick or whatever, and then he called me up and he said, "Hey, would you want to film a wedding?" And I said, "When?" He's like, "In an hour." And I was like, "Sure, yeah, great."
I gave you tomorrow. The shooter was sick, and so he told me the day before, and so it was the day before. It wasn't an hour.
Kyle likes to exaggerate.
Hold on. There were those.
There were a couple of those in the beginning as I was
in the beginning.
In the beginning, as I was getting organized, there were a couple of those.
But now that has not happened. But yes, in the beginning was just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing. You want to hear?" He's like, "Oh, you want to film a wedding?" I'm like, "Oh."
Who remembers the first wedding that we shot together? I remember the second wedding very clearly. Okay, Shawn, you go.
Well, no, I was saying I remember the first wedding I shot with you. That one I have distinct memories of.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of the first one that was. I don't know if I know the first one that was you, me, and Kyle.
I'm pretty sure it was at the Barn of Stony Brook, though.
Most likely, yeah.
Most likely. But I mean, since you went there, let's hear the story about how we first met.
Okay, so Megan and I's first meeting. So this was interesting. There is shame here, but so I pull into the Barn Stony Brook, which is a venue that we all shoot at often. I pull in the parking lot, and right when I pull in the parking lot, my neighbor sent me kind of a really mean message about something on the street, and it just really annoyed me. And so I walk into the venue, and I could have had a better attitude at the time. And then we have, who we all know and love, Megan, with her big, bubbly personality. So excited. She comes in, gives me a hug. I'm so excited to work with you. This is so exciting, and all these things. And I did not reciprocate her energy even the slightest to
Now, let me just interject here. Shawn
Okay.
doesn't know this, or he learned very late, many years later. That was actually the first time I had ever worked with a videographer in my career.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this was my first
Yeah.
experience working with a videographer at all. The first time being greeted by a videographer. And he was just he makes it sound like it was so much worse. He was very fine. He was totally fine, but he definitely didn't like meet my energy. I mean, it's hard to meet my energy, let's be honest.
But I mean, maybe I'm hoping to get somewhere like a quarter to half. That's my goal.
On my best day, yes, 25% of Megan is my best day.
But Shawn totally like he, walked away and then came back and was like apologized even, which was so big to do. Like that when he apologized later for not I mean, he was fine. There was nothing wrong with the way he greeted me. And he took the time to really come back and apologize and start again. And that right there told me that this is a good guy right here. Like this is the type of person that I want to be working with more. Somebody who can actually just swallow it and just say, you know what? I feel like I didn't greet you the way that I should have, and let's do this again. And that right there is just top notch right there.
Very kind. Very kind.
So let's bring it back to we met a year ago and you two were dating.
Yes.
So what's the current status of your relationship?
Well, we're currently married. Yes, currently married.
Currently married.
Yes.
And so the second time I ever met Kayla was
And our
Is that
engagement
photos?
photos.
Is that
Yeah.
photos?
Yes. We did not have good weather for that engagement
No, but
session.
it was so fun.
It was
It
just
was.
So much
spritz a
fun.
little bit.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great. Yeah.
Let's go to Kayla. So Kayla,
Yes.
when you first met Shawn and he told you that he's a videographer, what did you picture his day looking like? Or let's say his week. What did you think he did all week long?
Well, I thought he spent all week just like editing things. And then since we started dating in the fall, I think that was for the best because I started dating him during his busiest time. So a lot of our dates had to be weeknights.
Yeah.
And so
My
it
weekends
helped.
are tricky.
Yeah, it helped that it wasn't like we started dating in the winter and then all of a sudden his weekends are gone. He can't do anything. So it almost helped set the tone a little bit of like, then when winter came around, I was like, oh my word, this is so fun. But I'm used to now
Yeah.
the busy season. So yeah, I think I just assumed he filmed all weekend and then edited things from his house all week. And that was
that true?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I think.
No, it is true.
Okay.
We live together now.
I know, and that's what you do. Yeah.
That was like my next question. How has that changed? Like, how has your perception of like what he does on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis changed over time?
I think one of the things that I've loved is getting to hear his phone calls with clients. He's so personable with them, like just getting to hear his interactions on the phone. And I think part of it helps with having planned a wedding now. Like some people are interested, some vendors are interested in your story and some are just like, all right, what day do you want us? And so he, right from the beginning, just always tells clients like his heart for the business, why he started, asks very personal questions. And then like he
Not too personal.
No, not too personal. No. But then
yes, personable. Yeah.
But then like I've gotten to go with him to film some weddings and you can just tell like the brides are already at ease, I think, because of the conversations that they've had prior to that. So it's been fun to see behind the scenes. I will say I love being here when he and the team finish a film now because I get to preview it because I think I'm the target audience. And so that is so fun. I'll be watching and like, oh, Kayla gasped at the right point. Perfect. This one's ready to go.
It's hitting the emotional strings, which is great.
You really struck gold there, Shawn.
I know. I really did. Thanks,
so
Dave.
Kyle, how much did you pressure Shawn into proposing early on in the relationship?
That's loosen up the jacket a little bit.
Yeah.
Whew. All right.
I knew there had to be something. There has to be something.
So
Oh my.
This is how he deflects the
I
question.
know, I know.
Well
I
done.
know. No one's gonna even remember what they asked him.
Where did that come from, Kyle?
What?
Yeah, where did that come
Flying
from?
around.
You just like have a couple of these on retainer?
Yeah,
for
doesn't
everyone?
everybody? Yeah. I meant to wear it yesterday at the restaurant, but I'm like, you know what? I'll save it for the initial reaction.
That made my day. That made my week. That made my month.
Oh my gosh.
This is why he's your best friend.
That's right. There's always a
Yeah.
unique surprise here. You just
Look,
don't know what you're getting into.
So this is like when I tell a joke and my wife's there and everyone's laughing and she's like we've been together for 20 years. She knows them all. And I'm expecting, so Shawn's reaction is exactly what Heather would say, would be like, I knew there was something, you weren't just wearing a jacket for no reason. But then Megan, we're only friends for a couple of years. So this is still new to her.
Totally fresh. You totally got me.
Yeah.
You also got me on Shawn's wedding day when you like dressed up as like, remember you put the wig
Oh,
on
man, I forgot
and you
about
totally
that.
got Jen. Tell that story.
Yeah, so that's a good one. So just for fun, I brought like sunglasses and a wig and everything like that because I was going to like deliver something to Kayla's room and try to see like maybe I could pass off as like help or something like that. I made it like a foot in the room and she's like, Kyle, and right. And but yeah, so I was going through something and Jen sees me and she's like, hey, can I help you? And I was just like, oh yeah, I was just getting some stuff together. And she's like, okay, well, I'm Jen, by the way, and like shakes my hand, everything like that. I'm like, Jen, it's me. And she's like, oh my gosh. I'm like just trying to deliver these note, the letters. And I made it in. I had like my head down, like a hood up and things like that. The one thing I probably could have done was got like a fake mustache. I was pressed for time, but then I walk in and Kayla's just like laughing and she's like, I know it's you, right? And then I'm like, I didn't make it as far as I thought. And then so I took off my like wig and glasses, and then all the bridesmaids were like, oh my gosh, it's that guy? Like from I'm like, it's me from the rehearsal dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle always has something up his sleeve and always a good way to deflect the attention off of him, but into humor.
I know.
But I have to say, I feel like Shawn really won with your 2022 trophy. So they do an end of year. Shawn, you tell us. Tell us about your end of year party.
Yeah, so at the end of each year, so we subcontract out guys, obviously, throughout the year for different weddings, second years, all that kind of stuff. And so we have like an end of the year Christmas party where we'll have food, we'll have games, we'll have just Christmas festivities. But the exciting part is that we give out awards to all of the shooters and sometimes their wives, depending on the year.
Mhm.
And everybody gets an award. It is not a serious award. It is meant to be a funny award. And so that's the lead in.
And so in 2022, Kyle got the
Why am I not working with Megan Hoffer award?
because we didn't get to work together at all that year.
I know.
No, we didn't. All of 22, we didn't. And we were texting and I'm like, oh, you're like, hey, I'm working with Shawn Fisher Productions on Sunday. I'm like, oh, I'm working this Sunday. And I'm like, we must be doing it. And then I text Shawn. I'm like, Shawn,
Yep.
I'm at the barn, right? And he's like, oh no, we're somewhere else. And I'm like, what? Like,
What?
who's going to the barn? And you're like, oh, it's going to be like Doug and Dan. And I'm like, who am I with? And you're like, oh, I'm with you. And I'm like, why am I not with Megan? Like, in this, and I'm like, apologize, Megan. I'm really sorry. I'm scheduling conflict. I'm not sure why I'm not with you this time, but
And then I'm texting too. I'm like, Shawn, why don't I have Kyle? I don't really understand. Like, what is this? I don't get it. I don't get you. I don't get Shawn. I don't get Kyle. Like, what's going on here?
yeah.
What's going on? Well,
I do remember the one time where it was a couple years ago where it was like you were working with Shawn but I was like right behind you, and it was me, and you're like, oh, Shawn, it's you, and then like come around behind you, like, oh, it's just like, it's gonna be a good day, and whatever kind of pops up out of the ordinary, like collectively between the three of us, like it's gonna get done.
Yeah, I always know it's going to be a good day when I see
Someone
either
has to
one of your
tote Stanley
faces.
around,
You're the
Too
best,
kind,
Kyle.
too kind.
So, Kayla, what's the coolest part about being married to a videographer?
Is their coolest part.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's really cool is he films a lot of our day-to-day life, which is great. So, like our proposal, he found a way to film it, and I still didn't know it was coming. And then that day, he surprised me with a video of just a bunch of clips that he'd taken of us over the time we were dating all together. So, a lot of our life is on video,
Mhm.
which is great. And I think that's my favorite part. It also doesn't bother him that I like to be in front of the camera
So
as well. So
this one really likes me on camera. Like if there's ever requests to like, hey, you can be on camera, in immediate yes.
I'm like, oh,
Immediate. So this one likes me on camera, which is fun.
That is, you definitely found the right guy.
It's a good
for
pair
that.
where
It is.
someone films and then
Yeah.
someone can be on camera.
and what's nice
works
is right
out.
now he just films it. I just show up and then he edits it and makes it look great.
Yep,
So
yep.
I'll take it.
Mhm.
So, Shawn, what would you say is something that you exaggerated about your job to Kayla early on in your relationship to make yourself look better?
Oh, what did I exaggerate to make myself look better? That is a good question.
Mm.
I mean, I probably was like, so I own a business. I always felt, back in the early dating days in the pool, you're kind of like, okay, what are my cards to look cool? If you have a steady job that, could be appealing. So I did like, I own my own business. I've been doing my own business for 10 years. I have a couple employees, we have an office space,
Which was your dining
it's my
room.
dining room. We'll talk about that later, but just trying to make the business look as big as it
Yeah.
can. And then you come and see the operation, like, oh, you were here, and like, yeah, cool.
Now, Kyle, what did you exaggerate to Kayla to try to get Shawn to marry her? For her to try to get Kayla to marry Shawn. I bet you did.
I mean, I did talk about the investment properties a little bit.
Brought up mansions a lot.
Yeah. I said, Shawn, do the horses have enough room at the stables? Yeah, at the one property. Yeah. I'll be honest. I don't think I had to sell Kayla on anything.
Oh, that's just so sweet. Kayla, you're starting to second shoot weddings with Shawn, correct?
Yes.
What's that like?
It's interesting to see his switch from like the Shawn I know to like at 10 o'clock, I have to switch into work mode. That's like no nonsense then. It's not a good time for jokes. I found out.
I can get into focus. I can get
Yeah.
focused. I have a task and I need to make sure it's great.
Yeah. So there's a significant switch between Shawn, the husband, and I've switched to focus mode.
Yeah.
For
sure.
work now.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. I've also found he's constantly like the day of just go, go, go on the move, and anything like as many shots as he can get for a couple as possible. It's like, let's go, go, go. But I would say the thing that surprised me the most was back in the fall. So we've been married like 2 weeks at this point, and there was a weekend that we were shooting 3 weddings together.
Yes.
And
a
so
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're
Wow.
like fresh newlyweds off to film these weddings. And after each one, we had my performance review where he would pull up the clips that I shot and we would reflect on them. And I was not expecting that. He's like, I like growth. And so like after each time you come with me, we're gonna look for the highlights and look like, here's your challenge for today that I want you to think about while we're out there. So that I was not expecting. It made me a little nervous also of like, oh, the performance review is coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, that part really surprised me.
And there was improvement each day. She got better each time.
Yeah.
I had plans on twisting this into like digging on Shawn about like having to tell you what to do on a wedding day, because Shawn does get into like focus mode.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like when he needs something done, like he says it. Like, and for his second shooters, like he's so kind, but at the same time, but you need to go get this done. Like it's very direct. direction.
Yeah.
Like
And I was wondering if he did that differently for you. But man, you guys really just twisted that into like such a sweet thing. Like, wow, you were such a good business person, Shawn. Like you even like gave kind feedback to your wife to help her improve in like such a good, loving way. You're just the best,
We
Shawn.
try. We try.
Yeah,
But
he
seriously,
did.
like on a wedding day, does he give you that direct direction that he gives like his other second shooters, or do you think he's a little softer on you?
I think he's softer because it's
Yes,
less,
I
less
am
direct,
softer
and
on
it's
you.
more like, babe, can you go get the tripods? I need 3 of them. I'm like, sure, I can do that.
Me all the
I don't say
time.
that. I don't say that to Kyle.
He says that to me all the time.
I was just
He's
gonna say, Kyle, how does he give you direction on a wedding day?
The kid gloves come off. I'll just leave it at that. Look,
And you're still friends.
yeah, I just look at the final product and said like it was worth it, as I have like the bumps and the bruises, you know, it's fine.
You give
Kyle,
yourself the bumps and bruises, Kyle.
Sometimes.
You're really hard on
Kyle,
yourself.
though, like when Kyle second shoots, like, and he has said this from like a friend and from a business standpoint, he's like, I would never want our friendship to be hindered because of business. And so because of that, he gives like, I don't know if there is a number that's a higher than 100% that I could share, but like he gives more than 100% every time. Like the work ethic, and I will do whatever is necessary to make sure that we're successful, like above and beyond. So like there is not ever an awkward moment where it's like, hey, like this isn't working, or like I need you to do, like Kyle's level of like humility to serve and to help is off the charts. Off the charts.
And I would say that that is consistent across different aspects of his life too. Like seeing
sure,
him parent
This
his
is
2
supposed
young
to be about
kids.
Shawn and Kayla. I read the headlines. It's not me. But no,
But Kyle, seriously, you deserve some credit
Yeah.
here. You
Yeah.
are an incredible friend, an incredible second shooter, and all the things. You're a great dad, and you deserve some credit publicly. So there it is.
He did a lot of things well. And one of the things that he did really well. So Kyle and I are, we're best friends. We have been for a long time. Your best friend meeting someone who, joins the crew. Kyle immediately wanted to get to know her and make her his friend as well. It was never you're kind of stepping in my world kind of thing. Like from the beginning, he really made her feel super valued and did intentional things to let her know that I appreciate you. I'm so glad you're here. And so he navigated those relationship things very well. And I think it's been amazing. So it's one of those things that for her, it's made her feel super valued and super like welcomed into a community, which is cool.
Yeah.
Well, and
That's
I'll just
wonderful.
add then one of my favorite stories since we've been married in the business is just to show like Kyle also has still the respect of like family and work. So when we got married, Shawn had told the guys like the office is downstairs. Like you cannot come upstairs. Like unless Kayla and I invite you for something.
When we got married, we moved into a different house, had a separate entrance. It's a separate area downstairs. And the guys know you come in through that area, but you're not like previously, like they would come into my house. But like now, like you, in the nicest way, you're not welcome into my house unless we're inviting you because I have a wife. Please respect our privacy kind of a thing. And so that was something that was really important to me.
Yeah. So it was one of the first weddings back in November.
Yeah.
I think. And there were a few different teams going out on one day. And Shawn's like upstairs getting a shower. And I look out the kitchen door and I just see Kyle like at the car and then pace towards the front door and then walk back down.
I know
and
what this is about.
And then come back down. And I'm just looking out. I was like, what is he doing out there? And so I just watched for a little bit and like, I'm like, is he gonna come to the door? So I opened the door and I was like, Kyle, he's like, I left my jacket downstairs and Shawn won't answer. I'm like, just knock on the door. He's like, Shawn said when it's wedding day, like,
I'm no exception. I'm nobody special here. And I'm like, can I go the whole day without a jacket? I'm like, if we shoot outside, it's like it was like a high of like 38 and cloudy. And I'm like, my jacket is right on the other side. And I'm like calling Shawn, can you just get my jacket? And he's in the shower. And I'm like, I don't want to bother them.
But I was like, I was like, you of all people, I was like, you're the best man in our wedding. Like, just come to the front door. But he was so adamant of like,
I'm so sorry. Like embarrassed of the not.
But it was
yeah,
just
so
so
much.
sweet.
I really needed my jacket. It was cold today.
But it was just like, it just showed how much you valued like the business friendship of
Yeah.
like, I was the best man in their wedding. But when Shawn said, this is how you are when you are here for business, it applies to all
Mhm.
the guys. But it was just so sweet. And always know, Kyle, you're the only one on the team that can come to the front door. So
I appreciate that.
don't spread the word though.
Mhm.
So how has the business shifted? Has the business shifted at all since you guys have gotten married and
How was the business?
started second shooting?
I've done some tasks that Shawn has been putting off for
Yes.
years.
Yes.
Because he thinks that they are boring. So
in my mind, they don't make me more money, but they make me more organized, which
Yeah.
is a blessing.
So there have been some tasks that like all the hard drives,
Mhm.
he's like, I want to know what's on each one, but like, I don't want to take the time to go through and label and file and categorize. I was like, oh, that sounds like a great way to spend the day. And so that's what I did.
Mhm.
And to be clear, Kayla, what is your background?
My background is not in film like these two. I'm a kindergarten teacher.
She brings the energy every day.
Which is funny though, because I have found going with him to weddings, some groomsmen are like kindergartners. So rally a class of
Somebody's-
kindergartners, you can in fact rally like 8 groomsmen also.
Look at that.
Yeah.
The skills just
And they do transfer over.
I love that so much.
Somebody's missing a shoe, and it's just like,
Yes.
oh, I did. Where did you have it?
Somebody needs the directions repeated a few more times, broken down a little simpler of where to go and when.
And like instead of tying shoes, you're tying ties.
Exactly.
That's great. That's great.
I would say
Um,
on my end, I have a little bit more of a harder stop on the workday at 5, whereas before I would work into the evenings more.
Mhm.
So now it's more of a we're stopping at 5 and we're not doing more.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really great. And that'll be really important in the future if we do we get babies soon? Come on.
DVD.
Ah,
Information to come.
I want to do a family shoot.
Great.
Yes.
We'd love to have you.
Yes.
Okay, great. Great. It's planned already. So excellent.
Perfect.
Well, I guess maternity shoot comes first. So maternity shoot, then
Looking for
family
all our
shoot.
family
Yeah,
shoots.
yeah,
Yes.
it'll work
It's going to
out.
be fun.
We'll,
It's gonna be
we'll,
fun.
we'll send you some dates. You'll get the timelines from those dates.
Okay, great. Excellent. Excellent. Oh, that's exciting stuff. So I hear that, so for our get together next year, right? So hopefully like in a year, the plan is we're going to your house,
Going to our
Shawn
place.
and Kayla,
Right.
and Kayla's cooking, and then Shawn's going to set up the obstacle course, right? The blow up obstacle course, right?
So okay, so this is an area of contention that got brought up last night, and I have maybe dabbled on those waters today, not to my benefit.
I was going to say, Kayla isn't part of that group chat.
Yeah. So this
Is
so
she
it's really
aware of the
funny.
group
So-
chat? Is she aware of the group
I
chat?
am aware of the chat.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
So this is when we first got this house. We got this house in October, and it's really nice. It has like an acre of land. It's a little bit more in the country feel. And I always thought, let's like, I'd love to have like neighborhood parties. We'll invite the neighbors over, have a good time. We'll get a couple bounce houses so the kids love it. And then I started to kind of go on this rabbit hole of looking at bounce houses online. And
Mind you, we're planning a wedding at
Yeah.
this point. I
Well,
can't
like-
get him to look at wedding things for the registry, but he'll send me 8 bounce houses for one
And so
day.
I was like, babe, there's like so many cool bounce houses you can get. This would be great. We have we'll be the talk of the town. People are gonna want to come over here and hang out. It'd be great.
We don't have kids yet, so we look weird
I-
having a bounce house.
That's fine. Obstacles, we'll figure them out. Anyway, so we had talked a lot about bounce houses, and interestingly enough, I don't know if it was Kyle that brought it up last night about how next year we can have at this party we'll have a bounce house, and that just brought a whole slew of past
I know.
conversations we've had.
I'm sorry for any looks I might have given you. While like,
I have no idea. I
I'm just
stepped
a
into
real
that.
quick reaction
yeah.
when this topic arises
Yeah.
again.
So Kayla's not in favor of the bounce houses. She doesn't
Not
feel
yet.
She doesn't feel like they're a good
Kayla will-
investment at this
The one
point.
thing
yet.
about Kayla, she'll let you know real quick if you're stepping on a sore subject. Because she always has a smile, and then I'm like, "Oh yeah, we'll have like bounce houses," and it goes, I just stepped on a landmine and I don't know why. Yeah, I'm like, no.
Her face usually lets everybody
know
know
it does.
where it's
Lets
at.
everybody know that's enough out of you. And I'm like, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
But see, that's when Kayla gets to run the show, that's when she puts her boss face on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a team now.
Yeah, we're a team. We're operating as one unit, right?
Yes,
So
we are.
got food, and we'll get some type of outdoor fun.
Yeah, if you get me a dog for this house, then we can get a bounce house.
We don't have the
Oh,
space.
we got another hot topic. I
We
love
don't-
dogs. We're getting a dog. It's great.
We don't have the house for the dog. We don't have the outdoor space
Mind
for a
you,
dog.
we have a fenced-in section of yard, but he's convinced we just don't
We
have
don't
the
have
yard
the
for
space
it.
for
You have plenty of space for a dog. You just need to open your heart.
Yes.
Wow. Did you do that?
I did.
That's a
Is that a
thing.
real thing?
Yeah, I did. Go ahead, try it.
Oh,
Is it a thing?
Yeah.
is
Zoom
anything
thing?
happening? for
Sean, that's
Ryan?
not how you make a heart. Come on. A little
Yeah,
bit
it's
better,
like-
buddy. Bring it down in the middle. Bring it
Down.
down. No, like you got it's the fingers. You need to bring the
Yeah.
fingers together and then bring them down.
Yours keeps sending. Has
Yeah,
I
mine
know
aren't
because I'm
sending.
amazing. I'm
are.
full of love. I'm just full of love.
Guess so.
Bring it out a little bit. There you go. Yeah. So good.
And I wish
You
I
can
knew
also do this.
Wow.
Your Zoom.
No, I think I must be on Windows 98. It's not working.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say, I think it's an
I
Apple
think I'm on
thing. I think it's
95.
because well, I'm on Apple. I think it's an Apple thing, so possibly. But
Yeah.
so I'm very cool with my hearts.
Yeah,
so
your
we're just gonna do it
emoji
again.
game is strong.
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty
That
cool.
is a strong emoji game.
Pretty cool. I got totally sidetracked. What are we even talking about now?
Oh, nothing.
Oh,
Nothing.
funny
We're
story
talking
about
the
the
wedding
shirt.
days.
Hold on. Funny story about the shirt.
Okay.
So me and Sean are at Windridge, and you have to walk through the outside
Yes.
patio area
Jeez.
to get to the reception, and then they have like an outside dining area. So the reception, no, yeah, the reception. Then we'd walk outside to get to the ceremony, and so we just eavesdrop on somebody's conversation, and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, you know about Megan Hoffer?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh, she takes such great photos," and we're like, "What?" You know, like.
Megan's not shooting this wedding.
Yeah, and I'm like, he's
You
not
have
even
people at a
here.
random table talking about
Called
Megan Hoffer.
Megan, and Megan's like, I've never even shot there before. And I'm like, people are talking about you in wedding venues that you've never shot at a restaurant. Like, part of me wanted to go up my phone and be like, guess what? I know Megan Hoffer. She's
Yeah. Bet you wish you hung out with Megan
She
Hoffer.
would say, yeah.
You guys are so kind. That like, and the thing
It's a
is,
true story.
Yeah.
I know, it's really-
your brand empire.
I was with Megan, could you sign my shirt? Could this like mine or something? I put on eBay and might get $1,000 for it.
eBay.
but what I have to throw it back on you guys was that you were so excited for me to like tell me that story that you called me on the way home from the wedding when I was on the way home from my wedding.
Yeah.
And we ended up meeting at Applebee's because like randomly it worked.
That's
Yeah, we
right.
did.
Because you
That's
guys were
right,
coming
yeah.
from Windridge and I was coming from like Philadelphia way, and we crossed paths because I go to Lancaster and you go back to
Oh, really fun.
and we ended up like meeting up at Applebee's, and you told me the story there too. Like that was just an incredible
What a way to
fluke
end
of
it,
good
right?
luck.
Yeah.
Great day.
What?
It's a great day.
So what a way to end the day. Like you have like a 12, 14-hour day, and I got there first, and like Megan's like asked for a drink. I'm like, Megan, this is Applebee's. I'm like, they don't have anything specific. Like we're
I was like, what's your
Maybe we
beer
can get half
list?
price app.
the beer list, and I'm like, there's like 3.
Yeah, they're like, it's Miller Lite, Bud Light, and I was like, oh no.
And water. Yeah.
Well, I ended up getting something. I got some kind of mixed drink or something, but I had to make
You
it.
got the fishbowl. That's right. Yeah, I
Oh,
remember.
that's right, I did. But they didn't call it a fishbowl. They called
No.
no, they called it something, but then like they came out with this big, huge thing, and I was like, oh, oh, I don't know if I can, like, that's a lot
Yeah,
of
Megan's like,
drink
can I get
for
this
the
to
way
go?
home."
Like this is a lot.
Oh, but in all
Also,
seriousness, oh, okay.
oh no, I was gonna say, so just filming a wedding, I know from Sean's standpoint, in the parking lot, he parked and probably 30 times looked out the blinds to look at his car the whole time. Are you nervous about like having gear and wedding footage in your car without backing it up before you're done the wedding?
Oh, for that time, like when we met on the way home,
Yeah.
I had it in my bag. I brought it in with me.
Oh, you brought it in with you.
Yeah. Like I won't leave the memory cards in the car by themselves. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I just keep them in like in a little baggie, like in like each memory card's in their own individual cases, and then I keep them in a little baggie with the names of the couple on them. And yeah, I
Yeah.
just bring it in the bag inside with me. Yeah, I would be nervous too, for sure.
Because we have that, but we also had that and it was in the trunk. I didn't think to go and get all the memory cards and bring them in.
Yeah.
I forget what that situation was. I think I remember I parked at a place that was easily seen, so I could look out, but I forget exactly.
Yeah, like our table was like right next to our car, and I could just
Mhm.
tell Sean constantly looking out the window, like checking on the car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's totally understandable.
yeah,
Valid
it's
concern.
something new that they do though. Sean now backs up his footage sooner than later. Now that Kayla's here, because I remember Sean would serve on Sundays at church, but he would back up footage, and sometimes it'd be 3 weddings and what, 4 memory cards per wedding, so 12 cards he would have to upload plus the audio. And so he would basically like start the uploads. It would take like 30 to 45 minutes a card. And then he would fall asleep on the couch for like a half an hour. And then he would wake up and switch cards and things like that. And Kayla said, no, thank you to that. And now
So
he's back.
Good for you.
So I'm very particular about like the when you get back on the wedding day. Like for me, I don't know how everybody does it, but for me, like I am backing my cards up the day of the wedding, and it does not matter how late it is. It does not matter the situation. The cards are getting backed up, and so Kayla knows that this is a rhythm, and she's like, "So are you like sleeping on the couch on wedding nights, or like what's the deal here? Like how are we gonna do this?" And so we figured out a new system.
Yeah.
So
So what's the new system?
we back it up on the drive home.
Yeah, the
And
second shooter will just do it.
I don't know
on the
why
drive.
I've never thought of that as a thought.
Huh.
Because you were married before.
I know. So we back it up on the drive home.
That's so smart.
And I don't know why I never thought of it before, but because it's like one of those things like your brain all of a sudden now has a challenge that you have to figure out, and you're like, oh wait, there's that time right there that you could do it. Why am I not doing that? Oh, okay. So
Well, I mean, in all seriousness, like you are exhausted after a long wedding day too. Like it is nice to be able to just like listen to some Backstreet Boys on the way home and
How do you know our playlist?
Oh, seriously, like I usually don't listen to any music for like a while just to like veg for a few minutes on my drive home. But then like yeah, it's got to be something like
it's like really loud music too. And you're
Yeah.
like, I just was in an environment where I was loud music. I just want to like a little bit of quiet for a little bit. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you guys listen to on the way home?
So,
We listen to more wedding type music. I love it.
so Sean, because the last thing you do is dancing and everything like that. And sometimes we're at the very end, sometimes like a half hour before it ends or whatever. But either way. So the music's like already at the 10 and Sean like gets in the car and he's like, let's keep it going. And so it's like the white girl party mix going on. Like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter how far we're going. And thank God Spotify's come a long way, because before I would have to know all of these songs and like we would like YouTube music, everything in the early days. And Sean's just like, man, you're like, you're doing such a great job. Now it's like Spotify just have the playlist. But do you know Jordan?
What's that?
Megan, do you know Jordan?
Oh, the second shooter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jordan, when I worked with him, actually complained to me about Sean's, and he's just like I just got done this long day, and Sean's just like, like the white girl party mix, and he's just like, I'm just like done with this, and he's just like crank it up real loud, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's like me and Sean thing, but he's just like, he wants no parts of it. So I know when I second shoot with Sean, like, let's not keep the Britney Spears going.
Part of your responsibility on the way home in the passenger seat is to keep the party going.
Yes.
It's only, second shooter responsibilities.
We don't listen to it when we're in the car.
What?
I
Well,
know.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
What
the
do you
party
listen?
music hasn't come
What
up
do you
at
guys
all.
listen to?
Oh, I make him talk. So
Oh,
We
I
share our
love
feelings.
that.
yeah.
We share our feelings and we go really deep.
Let's talk about that, Sean.
Uh-huh.
What's that like, Sean?
What's that like?
What are those feelings like?
Well, honestly, you should see what it's like to see me try to express my feelings. You probably have a better idea of what that's like. Why
Yeah.
don't you explain what that process is like?
Way to deflect.
Yeah, it's more of like I'll be like, oh my word, this moment today was so sweet, or like, can you believe how intentional they were about that? And he's like, yeah, it was a good day. The bride was happy and easy to work with. So we had nice weather. I got the shots I needed. Great. Good day.
Mhm,
Let's go
mhm.
home.
I find that, and you okay, this is our marriage. So, but she's like, hey, so what are you feeling? And I'm like, she's like, then I'll share stuff. And she's like, no, you just shared facts. Like, what are you feeling? And I was like, well, what this is this. Like, no, you're sharing facts. So one of my things that I don't do well is sharing feelings. I just end up sharing what happened. And that's one of the things that she's helping me work through is express my feelings because it's not a strength currently.
It also adds to like he's so like laser focused during the day that there will be sometimes that I'll be like, oh, like, did you know that the bride's sister and the cousin, they drove all the way from here? And he's like, how do you know that about them? I was like, oh, I just chatted with them for like a little bit, and like that's their grandma, or the one I think it was the first wedding I went to with you on the New Year's Eve.
You're finding out all about all the
I
extended
know,
family
I
and
was like,
who's
"Wa-
related to who, and
I was like, watch for the bride's brother because he's going around telling people he's going to get lit tonight. So like, just watch for him on
Yeah.
the dance floor. And he's like, how do you know that? I'm like, well, he'll spread the word. Like the whole family knows. So just a heads up,
Yeah.
that's what he's going to do
you,
tonight.
you leave these weddings and it almost feels like you're a part of their family.
Yeah.
See, now that is that's a huge get for you, Sean,
Yes,
because
yes.
like getting
I don't
that
have
extra,
that. I don't always have that big bubbly, like
Mhm.
connective side.
Yeah, so you stay laser focused and she's able to stay open to what's
Yeah.
going on in the general
Yeah.
room and on the day. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool combo. So,
Yeah.
hey, great job.
And on a wedding day, brides are excited when you're like, oh yeah, we're engaged, or oh yeah, we're married. Oh my gosh. And you're like, win right there. That was great.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Do you think Mark would ever second shoot for me?
I think you would get that laser focus.
Would Mark? What do you? I don't know. I mean, like, I think he would.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's his scene. What do you think?
You're very right. I was just a joke.
I think he
I
could
think
be
he
your
would.
friend
I think
and
he
shoot like
would.
some
Yeah.
behind the scenes and Carrie Stanley.
He would
Well,
do great. Like he would definitely like
technical
what is the
side.
job and get the job done.
Yeah.
You know, like he would do it. If I needed him to do it, he would do it. And he would do all the things. But yeah, he's not going to be like posing and I don't think it's ever
I
going
think
to
he could be really
happen.
sharp technically, like as
Mhm.
far as like the flash or the gear, all that. I think he could do that stuff really well.
Yeah, well, it's never happening. So well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This was a really fun way to kick off my year. Ashley, did you have any questions for them? This is kind of like that open time if anybody has any questions and you joined us today.
No, I do not, but it was great hearing all that you have to say and share your information. So it's good to hear all the behind the scenes.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Now, is there anything that I didn't ask you guys or stories that I didn't ask you about that you would like to share here?
It's your public space to share anything.
Oh, can I ask you a question, Megan?
Oh, sure.
I mean, you've worked with the two of
Are
them.
you gonna ask her if we were her favorite client or?
No, I wasn't going to ask her that.
I shot their wedding, so of course you were my favorite client ever.
I knew it.
Do you have any Megan, like just juicy, like fun
Oh, yeah.
tidbits from times that you've worked with the two of them, moments that have really stuck out of like, oh, that one's gonna be a memory forever. That they won't live that one down.
Boy.
I honestly really truly wish I did, but they're honestly so on it all the time. And they're usually the ones helping me get through things. You know, Shawn and Kyle are always the ones saying, Megan, what do you need? What can I help you with? How can I help you get through whatever it is that I'm dealing with at the moment? And they're just honestly incredible. And I would love to share a really funny, embarrassing story right now, but no, I don't have one.
Well done, you two. Well done.
Good boys. Good boys.
They are.
All right, guys. Well, my son is literally waving at me from the doorway.
Oh.
So he's been so patient and waited a really long time. But I think we'll wrap up for today. And everybody listening, you can look forward to our next live talk with Samantha Reese of Samantha Jean Photography. We're going to dish about our wedding with the mouse down in Orlando, Florida. We're not allowed to say the actual name live on anything. So, but we'll be talking about that experience and talking about traveling for wedding photography. So thanks for coming, and we'll see you guys later. See you in a year. Hopefully
Yeah,
I'll see you at a
thanks,
wedding soon.
Sure.
Bye, guys.
Hopefully soon.